So it's going to put on the right page. Thank you. Right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the February Tuka board meeting. Mike, could you open our meeting with karakia, please? Thank you.
Oh, sure. Bueno, mita tātou no karakia tēnei a hau mea te katoa e tukumiri atu ki a tātou ko tau mai nei. Tā tātou hui I tuatahi o te tau nei. Hari e kona ki pēri a tātou. Bueno, kei nei tātou. He pātine mātou no ngā he karopiko nei ki mui te rāra. Te pāmai tōringa ki rungi a tātou I tēnei wā e pā. Arahina mai a mātou. I roto I tēnei huinga o tātou. Tēnei anō te ino atu kia koe e pā manaki hea o tātou nei whānau e noho tauri, e noho I raru I te kapua tauri. Runga I tō ingoa tapu mātou riki mai krito. Amen.
Amen. Do we have any apologies, please? Hilda? 2.1, sorry. And Rachel Sondheim. Okay. I'll move that. Have I got a second? Yeah. Thank you. Deputations and speakers. We have no deputations. No deputations. We have a speaker. Can I call you forward, Lisa Murray? Yes. You've got 5 minutes, and when you're finished, feel welcome to leave. It's all, yeah. Yeah, it's not like that.
I'm Lisa Murray, and I'm the treasurer for Aroha Group. I also teach at Aroha School. Our group lobbies the goals and aspirations for the local community as informed by the community plan that we do consultation for. I'm here today to seek your assistance to purchase a container for all our gear. As the years go on, we accumulate more and more gear. We organise a big Matariki festival every year up there, and we bought these big electrified lights spelling Matariki that take up a lot of room, and also these gazebos and tables and chairs and lights and other bits and pieces. Until now, we've relied on our members' sheds and storage facilities to store all these things, and it's becoming not feasible for them to do it anymore. So we need some of all this gear to be centralised and easy for us to get at. So that's what we're aiming to do, is to purchase one. In the application, it said that it would be sited at Te Rāua club rooms, but since then we've negotiated with the school and we can put it in a little corner there, so it would be, I think, more secure there. So that's me. This is a question.
Thank you. Any questions for Lisa, please?
Yeah, I just had a couple. So it's a 20-foot container. You don't see a 40-foot being a better asset for the future, but accumulation is going to continue and continue and continue.
We hadn't thought of that. We're like, we've just got at the moment we're small. But, yeah, but we could look at it. Because, we've got a meeting tomorrow, so I could take that back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I suppose it's if the school had room for a bigger one, then would be the other consideration.
We have a lot of room,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's, small deal.
Any further questions?
Yeah, I've got a question for the chair. Did you get any other quotes, or is this the only quote you've got? For,
No, there were 2 quotes. If you want to upload 2 quotes,
oh, yes. Did you try container space? Because it gets used quite a bit up here. Like a Snapper Bonanza use it, and a lot of other companies and businesses use container space up here.
Okay.
So yeah, so yeah, it'd be
You know
right.
who runs it?
Not off the top of my head, but yeah, but I could get a name for you before. Or, yeah, definitely container space is worth a going to as well for quote.
Thanks. Yeah, there's 2 quotes there, so you can.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Further questions? No. Lisa, thank you very much, and we'll be making a decision at the end of the meeting, and we'll be in contact with you. Thank you. Have a great day. That's us. Chairperson announcements. I didn't have anything there, but now I have. I might just fit this in. At the start of our meetings, we asked to rotate our meetings at different areas. Okay, and I've just got a letter here from Morgan Armstrong. Rotating our meetings can occur. There's because council has conductivity, so it won't be a problem. They've got 2 Starlink hookups, so that's something to give thought to prior to the next meeting or thereafter.
Where was it, Mr. Chair?
What's that?
Where
It
was
would, no, I just announced. I just got this in. Cheers. Yep, have a read if you want. Pass it around.
Chair, did anyone have any ideas?
Yeah.
What, didn't we agree at the or suggest at the last meeting, March one was going to be under Crystal?
Try and get one up now.
Oh, that'd be nice. Nice way to start. Yeah.
That'll be cool.
So through the Bev, do we have to just notify you areas, etc., etc.? Crystal's your contact. Okay, brilliant.
It's a month's notice, enough time.
Okay. Through the chair, we just need to make sure that there is screen.
That's awesome.
Coming
in.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, moving on. 6.1, confirmation of previous minutes.
Yeah, just through the chair, item 7.4 in the minutes. Is that going to be discussed later on in the agenda? It's
Just-
approval of the memorial seat for,
Yes, that will have to be discussed.
is that being discussed now?
Oh, that's up to the chair.
We can handle it now.
Okay.
Feel free. Yep.
You talk to Nancy?
No, sir. Up to the-
Yeah. Could I move that? Could I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, I'll
Thank you.
move that to the minutes.
Excuse me, Paul. I hoped to speak this morning. I didn't realise you had to book that here.
There was public forum. that
Yeah.
happened.
Okay.
Usually we have public forum for that. Can that happen? Can that occur? Yep.
It's
Okay.
first off.
Right. Okay.
So when would be the opportunity?
Can we hold on the seat? Well, hold on that. The floor's yours, sir.
Now,
Yeah, there's just something that's come up with people that I've been working with and about the warehouse building in the centre of town. And at the moment, there's a feeling that the only sort of community place that we have for, where people gather and sit and have coffee and drink and talk and all this sort of thing, is that centre in the town. And the idea was that the warehouse could become a creativity centre for Kaitaia, which we don't have at all at the moment. And a creativity centre is really, it's like the old town square where people gathered, did things together and passed on information, worked together. Skills from one generation were passed on to the next generation. And I think it's getting very important that we start thinking in these terms, because the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund are both predicting 40 to 60% unemployment in Western countries by 2030. This is not something out of the blue. This is something that hopefully they're wrong, but the way we're going with AI and all this sort of stuff, we have to think very carefully, I believe, in terms of how our community is going to function in the near future. I think it's becoming very near future. So the idea of using the warehouse as a community centre where, we used to have the art centre, sorry, over there, that one burst out. It used to be the drama society, it used to be in the little theatre here. That's all just sort of disintegrated. And that building, I think, creates a space which could be incorporated for all those sort of activities. I worked out at the men's shed, and we're pulling stuff out of the dump all the time. And that's why I'm very grateful. But learning skills for survival is going to become very, very important if there's no jobs for people to go out and get the money to go to Pack and Save to buy their food. They're going to have to learn how to grow their own food. They're going to have to learn how to build their own houses, learn how to fix their own cars. And that will not happen under our present education system. It's something we have to create as a local community here. So I would just like to put that forward as a possibility. I've talked to Shirley Williams. She's really keen on having it all incorporated as part of the market and the local community. A place where people gather and do things together and pass on. But we had a guy just leave the men's shed. He's getting old, he's losing his hip mind a little bit. But his biggest problem, he couldn't pass on his skills to it. And he is a brilliant toy maker. That's brilliant stuff. But there was nobody in the men's shed who was interested in learning his skills. Something we're losing at our own peril. Anyway, I would really like this as a project for the community board to take on and think about, and maybe get some public meetings going, and see what the enthusiasm. Hey, I'm like the only renter. There's nobody else wants it. And that's what the community thinks, then fine. But the community needs to be the driver.
I understand.
Okay?
Just before I ask if there's any questions, can you state your name for the record, please?
John Kenderdine.
Thank you, John. We've met.
What's the surname?
Kenderdine, Kenderdin.
And I apologize for making you wait. We missed that. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Are there any questions?
Kia ora moto. What you shared really resonates around some of the other community stuff that I do, about passing on knowledge, the transmission of knowledge. And I think as a society as well, we need people who need to think differently as well. Around the food sovereignty and all of that sort of stuff. We're too reliant on our one supermarket. Even though we have the biggest backyard, we can get all our own clothing. It's seen it, but to have people out there already thinking like that. Thank you.
Actually, there is a radio interview on, I think it might even be on now, national radio, Audrey Tang, Taiwanese Minister of Digital Affairs. She's being interviewed this morning on national radio. Hopefully I can access it later on. But she has taken the credibility of the Taiwanese government from about 10% up to about 70% by using AI control, which we have. But if AI is in the hands of the community, then I think it can be a very, very powerful tool. And they've created citizens' assemblies, which bring the views of everybody in the community together and analyze them, put them together, give them to the government, give them to the council or whatever, and say, hey, this is what the community wants. And as I say, the credibility of the government has just skyrocketed because they've taken this on board and listened to the people. We can maybe be the heroes of
Awesome,
the
awesome.
I think it's a great opportunity because one of the things that drives me up is I was sent to Switzerland on a training program, a little village called Hiku. And in Hiku, yeah, I found there's 2 world leading industries. Hiku is half the size of Qatar. I thought, why can they do it in Hiku? And every Swiss person I meet, I say, hey, you familiar with Hiku? Never heard. I've never found one guy from Switzerland who's even heard of this little village. But they're the world leaders in survey instruments and Leica cameras and lights, microscopes and all that. And then I was reading a bit about dyes for carpet, organic dyes where there's no chemicals used. And they said the world leader in this is a little place in February. I thought, wow, this is amazing. This little town. And I thought, well, we can do that here. We've got the kids with the brains and everything, but there has been an opportunity for them to express that talent that they all have.
Thanks, John. Just before you sit down, I want to talk to you too about expanding that to. I mean, we have tons of halls and spaces like that. I mean, if that's not an option, perhaps we could transfer it to areas like that where it's right amongst the communities and getting them involved. But I'll talk to you later at the market. Yeah,
That is in the
I know,
seat.
understand.
So
Yeah.
that's, I guess,
Not a problem. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Back on track. Information is getting back. Okay. So is it my?
Sorry. So 7.1 in previous one was still.
Right. We'll do it now. Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Okay, we're just going to change again and we're going to go online. And Mike's going to talk to the chair, the Mark. Yeah, he's going to talk about the chair, Eddie. So we'll do it now.
Is that me?
Chair, Mark.
Tēnā koutou. Kia ora.
Kia ora. All's yours. All yours.
Oh, do you have some questions for me, or would you like me just to give you a progress update?
We'll start with that. Then, yeah, then everyone's on the same page. Brilliant.
So this subject is for the approval and recommendation to council of a memorial seat for Stanley Julian at Taipa Beachfront. The report came to your meeting before Christmas, and you approved it subject to Hapu approval. Hapu, Dina Marie from Te Hono, has met with Matua Tiger from the Hapu, and his response was that they would prefer to see Pou Whakaaro there. She's been back and talked to him again about the issue of that being quite a burden, a financial burden for the whānau who are suggesting funding a seat. She's been back to Matua and he's going to write to you with a suggestion. So we just need to wait now to hear back from the hapu in writing about their suggestions and way forward. We've provided some insight with regarding possibilities of joint venture, looking at a mutual project together, but we need to wait and hear back from the hapu on that first. I know that's not total clarity, but do you have any questions that I can answer that might help to clarify matters further?
Just one thing, Mike, just learning from this, I think next time consultation should probably take place before it actually hits the table. So that's something that we'll all remember.
Absolutely. Take that on board.
Oh, hi, Mark. Eddie here.
Kia ora, Eddie.
Yeah, kia ora, Mark. Has the family been notified or on the progress of this?
Today, and she asked if next time I'm near Taipā I could meet with her. I haven't updated her about the hapu request for the po whakairo. I was going to wait until I had it in writing so I could understand exactly what hapu are suggesting. Would you prefer me to kind of update her before then?
Yeah, it's been 2 months since we've had our last meeting, and it was, they probably would like an answer or an update from council. That's all, please.
Certainly, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Mark, thank you very much for that, little Mark.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is someone there, Mike or Crystal Lindsay, to explain to us that don't know what the pro whakairo involves?
It's a what's the English word? Totem pole. And it's, I think what the hapu's coming from is that it's the significance around the space and the place. It matches as opposed to a seat. I don't want to speak on their behalf.
No,
It
gives us some idea. Yeah.
And it's also a way of sharing stories as well.
Gotcha.
So it'd be probably a collective. That's why Matua Tiger's gone down that path. But it's normally like what we have like on our it can be native wood. It should be native wood, but it can be wood that's local as well, utilising local carters. So it's that whole hapu driven.
Okay.
So definitely a change in cost compared to a chair.
Yeah, but knowing the whānau out there is they had a whānau about Ngāti Tahu. Yeah.
And just another question. Would something like that in the future relate to other families' requests? So it's future proof sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Like you said, it's a consultation. Around hapu.
Okay, any more issues on that?
It is right. Like the whānau deserve
No,
good track.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And thanks for the follow-up on that, Ed. No, cool. Okay, we'll get back on. Sorry.
On 7.1, has anyone let the different various schools and trusts and everything know who's been appointed on the board?
Yeah, I've reached out.
Yes. Which one was that? Adult 7?
7.1, just the appointments to committees.
Trevor's reached out, we saw it in his community.
Yeah, nice.
Right.
Busy space, those cemeteries.
The Tiahu Museum, those sort of people.
You've been confirmed.
Because they had
No, I didn't know if it was my job. Sorry to reach out to them.
Okay.
Sorry, that was just some of my own.
Yeah, we can pick it up.
I actually thought that council actually did that.
Sort of bit.
What page on your Adele? It's hard without that back sheet.
Sorry. Yeah, I was on the same,
Right, okay.
but I think. Yeah, since their triggers set the standard.
Yeah, I reached out after Trevor. When I saw his members report, I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will learn.
So Bev, what would be the process? Do I email them and would it be officially from the council? Oh, like for some of us that have been appointed to. Noted.
Well, we're on that subject too. Just on the Hurricane Hall, Adele, we've got your name there.
Yeah.
I'm available if you ever need a hand with
Thank
that
you.
too.
I've been in touch with Sharon, but
Yep.
I only got an answer. So
Okay,
she's yet to
okay.
get back to me.
Yep, no. We started that one, so we'll finish that one.
Thank you.
Are there any other issues on the previous minutes? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No? I move that the minutes be. Then, okay. Proposal to amend the alcohol control areas in the ward. 7.1.
I'll move it.
Seconder? Yeah, thanks, Adrian. Discussions, please.
Yeah, I've just got one on page 18.
Thank you.
And it's localities. It's just, I just want to know whether the Maungani Rugby has been consulted on the Arnold Ray fields, Arnold Ray Park rugby fields. Someone who can answer.
I can
Okay.
talk to that.
Donald, you've got the floor.
Yeah, okay. Just an introduction. I work in the policy and bylaws team. Short answer to the question is no, we didn't consult with the rugby team. At the time of the consultation, we tried to reach out as widely as possible to let the community know that these changes were in the offing, but no, we didn't. They presumably had the opportunity through that consultation process.
Kia ora, Donald, it's Eddie here.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit worried about us approving some of these localities when some people, and a lot of these groups didn't know about the whole process, consultation, and so I'm just a little bit worried about us approving as a community board some of these localities today when there hasn't been any consultation with those groups.
Yeah, look, I totally understand that. In hindsight, because we brought this to the board on the 2nd of September with the list of those places. And now we have done a formal round of consultation. We could, and this could be the board's recommendation back to the council that we delay the resolution for Kaitaia until we've specifically talked to those people. I do know there were a few participants, for instance, like the Pack and Save car park was being made an alcohol ban area, and we emailed the manager there and didn't get a response. So I can look back on the affected parties that we did communicate to, and then look at other, other contacts, and that possibly could be with the help of the board in terms of contacts that you know of, because to a certain degree it's a little bit difficult. For instance, there's a I can't remember the name of the bottle store, but there's a bottle store and there's a laundromat and a whole two or three other little shops. We did look into trying to find out, well, who owned the shops, and it was getting really difficult. But to a certain degree, it's actually, well, to a large degree, it's council's decision. It's like the decision relates to areas in the community where there's been incidents of alcohol-related crime and disorder in public, and the legislation has got a very broad definition of these public places. It's places that are used or open to the public. So that can include car parks, in particular, and service lanes and so on that may actually be private property, but in the interests of having safe communities, it's actually the council that makes the decision. Anyway, hopefully that's enough. I don't want to go on too long, make it too complicated. If you wanted us to delay, because it's really just, it's a resolution from the council that we're looking for. The next meeting is the 5th of March. That might even give, and it probably would fall back to me the opportunity to reach out to those particular parties, like in the next week or so. Otherwise, it could be delayed until the following council meeting.
Just a couple of issues, Donald. Bill Sabrisky, I just want to pick up on what Ed said. These were moved in September, and this new board wasn't elected then. So they're new to it.
Understood that.
The other thing I want to say is that if we have banned areas such as these, people are then going to look for places that have got no ban, and it's going to impact them. For example, Aoni Reserve, Unai Wharf, and places like that. So I would like to move it. We will move a resolution and get this back to council with changes, if the board's okay with that. We need some more discussion on those. You guys all knew. We just need to get up to date with that. Is that okay? Does that make sense, Donald?
Yes, it does. And it's always a little awkward with the new traineum and new members and people coming up to speed and so on. Totally understand that. I guess there's always been a pattern of people wanting to drink in public, sort of out of the public eye. And that's particularly why we focused on Kaitaia, because when the alcohol ban area was declared in 2018, it was really just the main streets. But it's really clear that people are wanting to sort of hide away and have a good drink. So that in particular was why Kaitaia was nominated to add a whole bunch of areas. Also, just as an aside, Lake Ngātu and Hilda, Councillor Hilda, sent an email in support of that. The idea that if things are tightened in certain areas, they'll gravitate to other areas. Yeah, that makes common sense. But the legislation is not precautionary. It's not, hey, let's put a plug everywhere. Let's stop it everywhere, because the legislation says we can declare these areas where there is a high level of crime and disorder relating to drinking in public. So, and Mayor Moku had instructed us basically to put in place a set of criteria to identify the areas where there is a high level of, and the police basically just call it mayhem, where there's a whole lot of mayhem going on. And we had looked at those other smaller areas in the ward and recommended that they didn't meet that criteria. Like we did have a really good look at Awanui and also Taipa, Cooper's Beach, Monganui, a whole bunch of areas. And they weren't hitting that criteria, e.g. from police records and public health feedback. So I hear what you're saying, but the legislation kind of precludes us from the word they use is proportionality. We have to be proportionate in our response.
Okay, we're going to move that. This come back to council after a bit of consultation at the table and with some of our groups. So we'll be sending that through if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your decision as the community board to recommend to council what you want. So that's fine.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like our team on board and knowing exactly what's happening. That'd be brilliant. Thank you very much, Donald.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, one more, Adele.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adele here. One of the areas that's of concern for me, and we have discussed this in previous term, and there's been RFSs about it, is on the riverbank from Church Road Bridge through to Empire Street. So it's sort of more or less out the side of your the building there, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of drinking that goes on there, and the police have been involved in a few different at different times. So
right.
We have discussed that,
Yep.
and I'm sure we discussed it at on the 2nd of September, because John Stewart brought it up.
Yeah, okay.
We can, sorry, just to butt in, we can certainly, like if is that in Kaitaia we're talking?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We did make a number of changes based on the September meeting, and we can amend that because Kaitaia was definitely part of the consultation. So if you suggest one or several other areas to add, that's not a problem. The problem would be in adding a whole new area where we would probably need to go, or definitely need to go back with a further round of consultation to make it happen. And that can happen at any time. It's a resolution of council that we're talking about, not making a whole new bylaw. So if you could communicate to me, I'm really happy to add any of those little pockets that you know of where so-called mayhem has gone down. We can just add that to the list.
Thank you very much for that. The other thing, just I want to clarify, consultation, is it just with the general public, or would you consult with some of the ratepayer groups that are in control of those areas and manage those areas?
It is the general public, but on our mailing list, we have all of those ratepayer groups, all of the business associations, a lot of bodies that have expressed interest in responding to council initiatives and proposals. So they all get emailed. And so it's kind of up to them to say, and also we specifically emailed all the iwi groups. And as I said, there were a number of business owners, like the Pack and Save guy, that were contacted. But at the end of the day, there were a few that we weren't able to identify the, emails and contacts for.
Okay,
So
then,
to cut to the chase, we have already reached out to those involved community groups, and it was up to them whether they responded or not. If you wanted us to make a new resolution for a new area, we would probably have to do a new round of consultation. If it was, for instance, Awanui, we could make it a very specific targeted consultation. And in fact, under the Act, under the role of community boards, you have a potential role in facilitating that more local consultation that's not district-wide.
thank you. That answers my question. Thank you very much, Donald.
Thank you.
Okay. 7.1, I'd like to move motion that this be, once again, we need further consultation on this. And then we'll have to go back to council and put it before council again. Does that make sense?
Can I just speak to this?
Yeah, no, just that's open. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm all for alcohol control areas, but I just think that number one was that there was a different board that got these places.
That's right.
A new board. Two, that a lot of these people haven't even been consulted on, and then we're going to all of a sudden approve that they're now alcohol controlled areas. For example, Collard's Sports Bar Tavern, and that's privately owned. And then this owner hasn't even been consulted. Next minute we're going to say, hey, we're going to approve your car park to be alcohol controlled, and he privately owns it. So
I understand that, Ed, and I understand what you're saying. That's why it requires more work with all stakeholders, all parties. Yeah,
Just leave it to lie on the table.
Exactly. We're just going to have to do some homework on that as well before we send our final request to the council.
I'm a big advocate for Lake Ngāti. I'm with the council.
No, understand. Yeah. I mean, there's areas that are just
Through the chair, if we hold off on that one, does that mean both of them?
How do you mean both, sir?
Like A, could we still approve A and worry about B?
Just to butt in through the chair, yes, you could. You could say, yes, we recommend that council proceeds with Lake Ngāti, but we'd like further targeted consultation regarding Kaitaia, something like that.
Thank you, Donald.
By the way, I think we did email Collard's Tavern.
And was there no response, Donald?
No, nothing specific.
We can make sure that.
Well, I'll move the Lake Ngāti one if we can do that. We're going to do that.
Sure. So we'll
We'll move this one first if you want. Yeah.
I'll second that.
That's list A.
And through the chair, again, one of the, I don't know, maybe just out in Ahipara along the beach, but the other thing is that, you know, the alcohol ban signs are out there, but, and they're on the rubbish bin. Maybe we need to think of another strategy on what
Placement and size.
placement and size of the signs looks like. I know we'll run at cost, but if we're really going to drive this home, you know, you can hardly see it.
I think, guys, with a lot of those issues, that's going to be our job.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure that what we get in the final print is exactly what we need and it's the most effective. So the onus is going to sit on us to just do our areas, look at our areas and what we need changes. And probably we need to do that as a group, as opposed to just one, you know, singular in the areas. Let's just set a timetable sometime and just all go out and have a look at these things.
So I just had one question through the chair, and that was for the likes of council-owned property. So if we own the Awanui Reserve,
right,
and we are like that's under the ownership of the council, do we need to consult on property that's owned exclusively by the council? Can we not just proceed with a ban on that area, or?
No, we do need to consult. It's under the LGA. You know, there's pretty specific rules, and also under our own bylaw. To make a resolution regarding an area, we have to consult. And by the way, regarding signage, in terms of implementation, we will be printing out some fresh, like the self-adhesive signs that go on rubbish bins, but particularly for Lake Ngātu, we are looking, and we have to talk to our facilities team, but we're looking at larger signs. In terms of sort of driving it home, that's kind of outside our role as a policy team, but could be something that the board get in behind, particularly with the local iwi in Lake Ngātu, but just to really communicate that this, you know, has been an issue. We've looked at it, and hey, what it really means, if you see people creating mayhem, ring the police, and they've got a lot more powers to deal with those people.
And before everything goes to print, i.e. signs, does the community board get to see these, just so we can tick the boxes and it fits out, you know, just what we were talking about before then? Do we get a chance to see them before everything goes to print?
To see any new signs?
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that. It would be this, like the standard sign would be exactly the same as the ones you see, although they'll be fresh and shiny. So that wouldn't go to the board, but as a courtesy, if we're doing nice big new sign for Lake Ngātu, we can communicate it through to you, get your feedback.
Anything else on this issue? Well, we've got them here.
Oh, just sorry, Donna, one more question through the chair was, what's the review cycle for the liquor ban areas?
There's no review cycle. The bylaw is it's actually every 10 years now. But a resolution to make a new area it can happen. It's more reactive rather than proactive. We've got a general rule sort of every 6 years for you know, some sort of instrument. But if let's say in a particular area, a tavern starts to get a lot of people milling around outside and it gets a bit heated, we can respond and make a new resolution regarding that area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Donald.
Thank you. I feel like I've talked too much here, but there we go.
It's an important issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just before we get back onto our thing, do we need a break? Quick break?
You can finish our resolution.
Okay. Resolution in regards to? I've forgotten.
Regards to the Kaitoa, well, putting the.
Okay, the B
Kaitoa
part.
one, yeah, B.
Okay.
So I've got that the Hiku Community Board approves item 7.1A permanent alcohol control area at Lake Natu 24/7 whole year round. And let item 7.1B permanent control alcohol area in Kaitaia that will continue to apply 24 hours, 7 days a week, all year round. Let lie on table.
I'm just a bit worried about the lie on table part. So what does that mean, lie on table, or do we say that when that the community board?
We need action.
Yeah, action rather than lie on the table.
It's gonna go back to council. For the chair, it's going back to council for review.
Oh, yeah, even review, son, review.
Yeah, review.
Yeah, review.
Again, if I can butt in there, possibly if you just said, look, we'd like the Kaitaia recommendation to be delayed until the following meeting after the 5th of March, which is presumably April. And then if you said something about to allow more time for targeted consultation, something like that.
Through the chair,
Yes.
let item 7.1 be permanent control area in Kaitaia and all that be delayed to allow more targeted consultation around specific areas in Kaitaia.
And can we just add there, and any other inclusions or additions that we deem important?
And probably in that, through the chair, would be signalling the likes of the Aonui Reserve and any of those areas that are developing as freedom camping areas, because they are naturally attracting people. And it's not probably the freedom campers that are the problem, but it's other people that see there's something happening here and they come along and start drinking there, and then the problems escalate.
Just a thought there. I wouldn't bundle the two together. I mean, Kaitaia's got a momentum behind it, and hopefully we can button that down. I think you would probably make that
Second resolution.
second one, and then the third one, it would more or less be saying that, and it wouldn't be a recommendation to council. It would be informing council that the community board would like to further investigate some of the other areas in the ward, something like that. And then it's your business, and you can initiate things at that later date.
So just a question, Donald, through the chair.
Yeah.
So if we put this resolution forward,
Yes.
okay, for 7.1B, then how does the community board, how do we get involved with the consultation for the Kaitaia part?
Exactly. It will be through me, essentially. You might want to nominate somebody in the board that I would communicate with. So it'd be, toing and froing. I'd really appreciate advice on nuts and bolts, particular people that you know of that I can communicate with.
And does that mean that we can add areas into the Kaitaia part as well?
Yeah,
without-
I've already said you can without needing to make a resolution. I can just, as I did last time in September, if you know of, let's say, 2 or 3 streets or car parks or whatever that you would like to add in, when it goes up to council with that list of places, I can add to those without having to do a whole complicated round of resolutions or community consultation.
Just I'll just see FNDC.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Donald.
Okay.
You got that.
I think that is the Te Raro office, the reserve on extended interest. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Not the bed, but the rubber band,
yeah,
yeah.
up by.
Oh, is it, you mean it's there?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's council car park.
Yeah.
Yeah, reserve, sorry.
Between the Croaky Club and.
Yeah. And that's,
And that's where they go and.
yeah, yeah, singing during the
They
day.
should actually be bothered. They drive up there.
You
along
are.
that bank.
Do the mowing of the lawns and
Oh.
all of that sort of stuff.
Let's take a break. Let's have a 5-minute break.
Natasha's got a read
Oh,
herself. B and C.
Okay. Resolution.
So what does the resolution say now?
Oh, shit, yes.
We have to get that sorted first.
So
Just while we're waiting for Natasha to type that up, just a couple of discussion points on the liquor ban. It's interesting that we have a set criteria that would trigger perhaps the liquor ban area being instigated in a new place. But I think it's interesting with Lake Ngātu, it didn't meet the criteria at all, but there's a strong sense of community desire for that. And I think that's really important. We shouldn't probably get too hung up on criteria.
I
If
agree.
people on the ground identify here's the issues that we have,
Yeah.
but we don't meet that
Yeah,
necessarily, then we should listen to the community. I think that's really valuable.
I think that's totally what it's all about. Yeah, listening to the people. It's like roundabouts. It's like all those sort of things. Safety zones. What's their response? What is it death?
Yeah, we're not actually.
Yeah, you.
It's usually like screeching every second and third week.
Follow there.
okay, so
Here we go.
7.1 A stays the same. So we
We got that one.
Lake Ngātu 24/7 whole year round approved. Then we have 7.1 B permanent alcohol control area in Kaitaia be delayed to allow more targeted consultation on specific areas. And we have at item 7.1 C to allow more time for community board members to further investigate other possible areas in the ward.
Ooh, quite young.
You agree with that? So we.
I'll move.
You moved, Trevor seconded.
Yeah.
So we all good.
Cool.
And that's just
I'm really sorry. I just quickly finesse that. The third point, I think it would be you're advising council that you'd like to be look at further areas, and so it's like information rather than recommending the council does something, which is the nature of the first two. And by the way, just that comment that we can put in place areas where there's strong public sentiment about it, like Lake Ngātu. That was actually specifically included in our decision-making criteria. That was the third thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'll definitely shut up.
No, it's all right, Don, we've got to get it right.
So Donald,
Yes.
Eddie again. So if the community board comes to you and says, a para foreshore road, just example, I'm just using an example there, is that enough criteria for you to go ahead and put it in recommendation from a community board?
You're on mute, Don.
Donald, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. Short answer, if it's in Kaitaia, no questions asked, we'll just add it to the list. If it's a new town or area, we'd need to treat that as a new thing.
Even though it's in our ward?
Yeah, because it's the Act talks about specific locations at a time. We make resolutions, and it also, like the general principle is so-called proportionality. In other words, you're not allowed to make the whole ward an alcohol ban area. You have to look at specific locations and justify it. So you'd need to come up with evidence that there was a serious amount of stuff going down in an area. And for instance, we looked at Awanui and couldn't find that. But if you had further evidence that there was a lot of stuff going down, then that can be a new initiative, a new resolution, new consultation, and yes, it can be made a alcohol ban area.
Chair, it's Adele again, Donald. I
Yep.
think at Ahipara is already included in the alcohol ban, because they've got the signage on the.
Yeah, there's 7 areas. I won't go through them all. They're in the in that council report.
Tool, drinking.
Oh.
But if we have to make any slight change.
I
to
just made a change
Yeah.
that advise council to allow.
Yeah.
More.
Mr. Chair, just an amendment to your report, Donald, on page 22 on the agenda, where it talks about state of possible implications and how this report aligns to Te Tiriti or Waitangi. You've got Te Hau o Hora o Ngāpui, Hau Hora, Te Hiku, and Iria Te Moka. And the fourth one, it should actually be Te Runanga o Te Rawa.
Yep, you're right.
That too, and then we consult with Collier as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Good enough.
Could you just put that in the comments for me so I get it perfectly right, please?
Will do, Donald.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don.
Okay.
And our resolutions are.
There's no trouble.
Oh, no, we'll get it right. Yeah, we get it right. Yeah. All concerned.
Taking off the.
Well, why I bring up that thing about, you close one down and they go elsewhere. It's the same with CCTV. Yeah, you drop it there, it rises there.
See,
Seriously. Coffee.
Okay, so I'll pause the.
Yeah.
recording.
Take a break. Take a break.
Yeah, I know they did talk of it though.
The Monganeipo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a minute ago,
but then yet they haven't.
I wouldn't know whether a conversation is carried on.
Or contact site consult, eh?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know like that. But
Um,
Well, Donald has said that he hasn't